the Phantom Hitchhiker of Route 55. It was a cold, moonless night when Jake found himself driving down Route 55, a desolate stretch of highway leading into Boise. His truck's headlights cut through the dense fog hanging in the air, the silence outside only broken by the hum of his engine. Jake had made this trip dozens of times, but tonight felt different. An unsettling feeling clung to him, tightening with each passing mile. He had just passed a faded sign marking the city limits when he saw her, standing by the side of the road, illuminated in the glow of his headlights. She was dressed in an old-fashioned white dress, the kind his grandmother used to wear, and her hair was tied in a neat bun. She stood there, motionless, one arm raised, her thumb pointing down the road. Jake hesitated. He had heard the stories. Everyone who had driven Route 55 had. But his curiosity and compassion won over the creeping dread. Against his better judgment, he pulled the truck to a slow stop beside the woman. She approached silently, the heels of her black shoes clicking faintly on the pavement. Her face was pale, almost translucent in the dim light, and her eyes, deep, sorrowful, and hollow, met his with a desperate pleading. "Headed to Boise?" she asked, her voice soft, almost whispering. Jake nodded, his mouth suddenly dry. Without another word, she opened the passenger door and climbed in. For a while, they drove in silence. She didn't say much, her gaze fixed on the road ahead, but every now and then Jake caught a glimpse of her from the corner of his eye. There was something eerie about her presence, something that made the hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. After several minutes, Jake cleared his throat and asked, "What's your name?" The woman turned her head slowly toward him, her expression unreadable. "Emily," she said, her voice so faint it was nearly drowned by the sound of the engine. He wanted to ask more, wanted to know why she was out here, dressed like she had stepped out of a time long forgotten. But an unshakable chill kept him from pressing further. As they neared the city limits of Boise, the fog grew thicker, swirling around the truck in ghostly tendrils. Jake noticed a strange sensation filling the air, a weight pressing down on him, as if the very atmosphere had grown heavy. Then, without warning, Emily spoke again. "I died on this road a long time ago." Jake's heart raced, a cold sweat breaking out across his forehead. His hands gripped the steering wheel tightly, his knuckles white. "What do you mean?" he managed to ask, though his voice wavered. "There was an accident," she continued, her voice distant, as though recalling a dream long forgotten. "I was on my way to Boise, and I never made it." Jake swallowed hard, his throat dry as sandpaper. The stories, could they really be true? He kept his eyes fixed on the road, the city lights just visible ahead. As they reached the city limits, something strange began to happen. The air inside the truck grew colder, the temperature dropping so rapidly that frost began to form on the windshield. Jake's breath came out in visible puffs, and he glanced over at the woman, a sense of dread washing over him. But she was gone. The seat beside him was empty, as if she had never been there at all. Jake slammed on the brakes, skidding to a halt on the deserted road. His heart pounded in his chest, his mind reeling. He turned to look out the window, scanning the fog-shrouded road for any sign of her. But there was nothing, only the cold, silent night stretching out before him. The chill in the air lingered, the ghostly presence of Emily fading into the mist. Jake knew then that the stories were true. Emily, the Phantom Hitchhiker of Route 55, was doomed to wander the road for all eternity, forever searching for a way back to Boise, forever seeking a ride that could never bring her home. With trembling hands, Jake restarted his truck and drove into the city, his mind haunted by the memory of the woman he had picked up and lost in the span of just a few miles. And as he pulled into Boise, he couldn't shake the feeling that somewhere, out on Route 55, Emily was still waiting, her hollow eyes watching, her hand forever outstretched in search of the next unsuspecting traveler. Thanks so much for watching this chilling tale of the Phantom Hitchhiker of Route 55. I hope it gave you chills. If you enjoyed this story, please give the video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. And if you're new here, Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a spooky story. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. Have you ever heard of the Boise Phantom or any other supernatural legends? Let me know. As always, stay safe, stay curious, and beware the shadows.